Snake, are you okay? Snake!
Major.
Snake.
Are you all right?
First, take a look at what you're carrying with...
I see you've caught a king cobra. That area is inhabited by the Taiwanese cobra. The Taiwanese cobra is native to Taiwan and southern China. It's quite vicious and carries a potent neurotoxin in its fangs. Be careful. If it bites you, go into the survival viewer immediately and use the cure option to inject yourself with serum.
Sounds interesting.
Don't ask me.
Huh?
The guide doesn't say. If you absolutely have to know, then you'll just have to try it yourself and see.
I didn't say anything.
But you were going to ask, weren't you? About the taste?
Maybe.
I'll talk to you later, Snake. Burns happen when you're engulfed in... Snake.
Eva, where are you now?
I told you, didn't I? I'm right near the Colonel.
Pretty weak answer if you ask me.
I suppose you're right.
Eva.
Snake, I'm under orders to cooperate with you, but that doesn't mean I have to tell you everything I know. I would assume the same applies to you, too. That cave is known as Chornaya Peshara. In Russian, Chornaya Peshara means the black cave from which cold wind blows. It's a magma cavern formed millions of years ago, back when Salinoyarsk was the site of volcanic activity. The structure of the cave is pretty complex, but you should be able to find the aqueduct if you keep moving inward. Head toward the interior of the cave.
Active sonar sends out a special type of sound wave whenever you press the left stick. It uses the echo from those waves to calculate and display the position of nearby objects. Unlike the motion detector, it'll show you objects that aren't moving. But because you're blasting out sound waves, there's a risk that the noise will alert enemies and animals to your presence. Be careful about when and where you use it. Snake, your face paint is...
I know. It's called zombie.
Zombie? What does that mean?
Beats me.
Are you serious?
Hello, paramedic.
You mean you've never heard of zombies?
Nope.
Never.
You guys don't know anything. A zombie is a dead body that's been cursed and brought back to life by a master of black magic. Supposedly, they revive the dead and use them as slaves. It's also seen as a kind of punishment. People who commit terrible crimes can be forced to labor even after they're dead.
Interesting. How do you know all this stuff?
I saw it in movies. Like White Zombie. Never seen it?
Nope.
Can't say I have.
How about Plan 9 from Outer Space?
No.
Missed it.
You can't just focus on the things you like all the time. You have to expand your horizons, try new things. You guys need to get out more.
Yeah, well, anyway, that face paint doesn't look all that useful. Go ahead and wear it if you want, but I think you should change to...
You don't need to change anything.
Why not?
It makes them look awesome. Doesn't it?
Look, arguing about it isn't going to get us anywhere. Snake, you do whatever you want.
It does make you look cool.
Pattern clothing, face paint, tactical... Covering your body is a good start, but a bare face will kill even the best camouflage. If the situation calls for a high camo index, you better break out the face paint. To apply face... The camo index... I heard you fought against KGB troops in the Virtuous mission, but this time you're up against Spetsnaz. Spetsnaz is the Special Forces unit of GRU, the intelligence wing of the Soviet Defense Ministry's General Staff Office. Spetsnaz troops undergo rigorous training in all types of special ops, from assassination and demolition to intelligence gathering. That and Volgan's loaded, man. His unit is one of the best equipped in the entire Soviet Union, if not the best. I heard the enemies you encountered in the Virtuous mission were only carrying weapons like AKs and grenades. Well, it ain't that simple anymore. In addition to AKs, some of the patrols you'll encounter might be equipped with Scorpion submachine guns and shotguns. The Scorpion is even lighter than the AK, making it much easier to handle. Basically, a guy with a Scorpion is not gonna miss you as often as with an AK. The shotgun is a powerful weapon. One blast is enough to floor you and you're likely to be seriously wounded. Watch for that, man.
I see you've caught yourself a Kenyan mangrove crab. The Kenyan mangrove crab is a land-going crab. It lives in burrows dug near seashores and mangrove swamps. It's not poisonous, but it might hurt a little if it attacks you with its pinchers. Treat it with caution.
Got it. So this thing must taste pretty good, huh?
Why do you say must?
It's a crab, isn't it?
It is.
And crabs are good to eat.
What's so good about them?
You don't like crab?
Not at all.
Why not?
Why? How can you eat those things? They're all purple and yellow striped, and they stink like cat pee. But that's just my opinion. Don't listen to me. Let's see here. The guide says... no way. It says they're delicious. Well, if you want to eat one, then go right ahead, but count me out.
Hey, this works.
Snake, be careful. That cave is inhabited by vampire bats. The vampire bat bites its victims and sucks their blood.
Got it.
Speaking of bats...
Just save it.
Huh?
I know you're gonna talk about vampire movies, Attack of the Vampire Donuts, or Dracula versus the Space Hippos, or something like that.
Actually, I was going to say that bats are known to use supersonic waves to sense their surroundings.
Oh,
Bats use supersonic waves to sense their surroundings, so you might be able to keep them away by blasting them with a special kind of sound wave. Alternatively, you could try equipping a torch and waving it around with the CQC button. As for taste, I suppose there's no reason you couldn't eat them. Snake, do you hate vampire movies?
what?
Just now, you sounded like you really hated them.
I did.
Yeah,
Oh. Well, no one really likes them, do they?
some people do.
Like you.
Yeah, they're fascinating, you know? Like the movie Dracula.
Don't say it.
Why not?
Just don't.
Are you afraid?
What?
You're afraid of vampires, aren't you?
Don't be ridiculous.
But
Listen, there are no such things as vampires. They're just a stupid, made-up legend. And if they do seem real sometimes.
well, sure.
You think I'd be afraid of something like that?
No.
Exactly.
Right.
I'm not afraid of vampires.
Uh-huh.
It's just that whenever somebody starts talking about vampires, I end up dreaming about them that night, and I don't need that right now. That's all.
Okay. Snake, whatever happens to you, make sure you leave a descendant, okay?
Are you saying you want to have my baby?
No. I'm saying that in the 21st century, the genes of soldiers like you are going to be in high demand.
Genes?
Uh-huh. Remember when Watson and Crick discovered the double helix structure of DNA back in 1953?
No.
You know, they won the Nobel Prize in Medicine for it the year before last. Of course, you have to feel sorry for Pauline and Franklin. They were researching the exact same thing.
Sorry, I don't follow.
Inside every living creature are little blueprints called genes. Through the union of the sperm and egg cells, these blueprints are transformed and inherited by the next generation. That's why parents and children resemble each other. The concept of genes was first proposed over 100 years ago by Mendel, but he didn't know what they were exactly. For a while, it was thought that chromosomes were composed not of deoxyribonucleic acid, but of proteins called polypeptides. Later, it was shown that deoxyribonucleic acid, or DNA, was a biological macromolecule. Then 11 years ago, Watson and Crick discovered that DNA had a double helix structure.
Yeah, this is all fascinating stuff, but what exactly does it have to do with me?
The inherent characteristics of any given individual are determined by his or her genes. By duplicating a set of superior genes, a separate body with the same set of characteristics, a clone, can be created.
But genes don't control a person's fate.
That's true, but having an offspring that's genetically identical to the parent is more efficient, right? You can expect better results that way.
More efficient? You can't mass-produce human beings.
Maybe, but now that we know the true nature of genes, human cloning is that much closer to reality. Nuclear transplanting is already theoretically possible, so one day...
My genes are going to be a valuable commodity.
Exactly.
They'd never let that happen.
Just think, even if your body dies, you survive and go on to bigger and better accomplishments. If you think about it, it's kind of an honor.
Does that kind of technology seriously appeal to you?
Well, I am a doctor. I can't condone it on moral grounds, but I'm fascinated by the possibilities. Especially when I see such an excellent specimen as yourself.
Yeah, well, thanks for the compliment, but it doesn't make me feel any better.
Don't be so glum. It's not like it's going to happen anytime soon. We'll just have to wait and see. Snake, it says here you can catch maroon sharks in that area. The maroon shark is found mostly in Southeast Asia, but it's not actually a shark. It's related to the carp. It's also known as the red-finned cigar shark, the river barb, and the sultan fish.
Interesting. So how does it taste?
According to the guide, it's good, but it's kind of oily and it has a lot of little bones.
Fine with me. I never worry about the little things.
So I gathered. Snake, there's a mushroom called the Russian glowcap growing in that area. The Russian glowcap is a kind of luminescent fungus, a mushroom that glows in the dark.
Why would a mushroom glow in the dark?
It's bioluminescent, just like a firefly. It uses the so-called luciferin luciferase reaction. To put it simply, luciferin reacts with luciferase in the presence of magnesium 2+ ions, breaking it down into oxyluciferin and carbon dioxide. The carbonyl groups in the oxyluciferin are initially in an electrical excited state. When they return to their base state, they give off light. Did you get all that?
Not really.
Oh.
I ate one and it recharged my batteries.
Huh?
I thought a mushroom that glows that bright was bound to charge up my batteries if I ate it. And I was right.
You're serious?
What's wrong?
Nothing. Snake, can you excuse me for a second?
Sure.
Did you just...
Yeah. There's no way eating a bioluminescent mushroom would cause your batteries to recharge.
What do you think it means?
Beats me. Maybe it's all in his mind.
You mean like a placebo effect?
Why not? You've seen how gullible he is.
I guess there's no harm done. Should we let him keep believing it?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, Snake, I'm back. Yes, the Russian glowcap is a glowing mushroom, so it'll recharge your batteries when you eat it.
cave seems to be structured like a
Hey, what's that you're wearing?
Night vision goggles. This gadget lets me see in the dark by amplifying light and displaying it as images.
Amplifying light?
That's what it looks like to me.
Well, I'll be damned. They're working on something like that here in the States, but so far it's not viable unless it's coupled with an infrared searchlight. And now the Russians have something you can carry with you. Anyway, those goggles should give you a decent visual range even in dark places. But don't look at anything bright like fire or it'll get burned into your eyes and you won't be able to see for a while. Be careful.
You want to save? Snake, have you heard of The Last War?
Nope, doesn't ring a bell.
It's a Japanese movie where the world ends in a nuclear war. Tensions between East and West reach the breaking point, and before anyone can stop it, they launch the ICBMs. Humanity is wiped out by a war that no one wanted. The movie depicts that destruction from the eyes of ordinary people. Their simple daily lives are torn apart by the terrible power of a war that has nothing to do with them.
Everybody's afraid of the next big war, but there's only so much that one person can do.
That's why the people who have the power to stop it have to.